Welcome in here on 704 Unfiltered. I'm Nick Sturdivant. Man, we got a special guest. We always have special guests, right, Carlene? We always have special guests.
It's always fun to have a special guest.
It's always fun. Usually I'm standing up. This time I'm sitting down. I was standing up for a long time.
You had to sit down for this one.
But yeah, I was standing up a long time for the DMV. Long story. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But we'll talk about it. I'm going to ask him about it.
Okay.
I'm going to ask him. I got a little intro for him.
All
right. All right, so he's a man that does a little bit of everything. I've been keeping my eye on this guy. He's a Charlotte native, specifically West Boulevard. I'm going to ask him about that too. CEO of Brand New Script, and which is a full-service public relations agency. Also the curator of Power Mixer here in Charlotte. A proud graduate of Leadership Charlotte. Also the man behind So Fresh and So Clean Up Day and so much more. And when he finds time, he plays a little pickleball. You might recognize this guy. Jay Hill, how are you doing, man?
Nick, I'm great, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me today.
I'm good, man. I got to start with this since I brought it up. I was at the DMV.
Okay.
And it was, nobody likes going to the DMV, man.
At all.
When's the last time you've been to the DMV?
I think I had to go about around my birthday, back in August.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't this past August, but the year before. And I forgot that it was time. Now you have to wait like 7 years to go renew your license. And I looked up and I'm like, oh man, I forgot to renew my license. But then you go and try to book it and it's booked out for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So I had to thug it out and I had to go and sit there all day and wait for them to call my name. And one thing I didn't know, if you have a reservation, they make you go sit down and they handle all the reservations and then they call your name.
Yeah, I just kind of popped up.
Yeah.
And I stood.
How long did you wait?
It wasn't that bad because I got there early, and I guess it's got like that time of the year. It was about an hour.
Oh, okay. That's
great. It wasn't that bad, but still, even if it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 hours, the DMV, I love y'all because y'all do great work. I love the people there. I don't want to shame y'all at all, but it feels like it's just you work the entire shift.
Yes.
It feels like you work the entire shift.
Yes.
I bring that up because on the way to work, I hit West Boulevard.
Yes. West Side.
West Side, man.
The real West Side.
With the real West Side.
Yeah.
I notice in your bio, every time it says Charlotte native, but it specifically says West Boulevard.
Yes.
Talk about growing up on West Boulevard. Talk about what West Boulevard means to you.
So West Boulevard is shaping the second half of my life, to be honest. It shaped my entire life, but when you're growing up, you don't think about where you're from and all the significance or anything like that. So my history is a little bit like this. So born and raised on West Boulevard. Boulevard. I said I was refined in Atlanta. So I lived in Atlanta for 10 years. So that's a whole other story.
Okay. We're going to get into that. Yeah, we're going to get into that.
But so my parents, I can trace my family's history almost back to slavery. So my mom and dad are 81 years old. They've lived in the West Boulevard corridor their entire lives. So they brought their home in Barringer Woods, which is right across from the Stratford YMCA, in 1969. But my mom and dad grew up like in Reed Park. My dad grew up on Morrisfield Drive, where Habitat for Humanity built all of these houses recently. So there's a church there, which is Moore Sanctuary Amy Zion Church, which is the genesis of the whole that part of the West Side. And so out of that church came the founders of Plato Price School, which my parents attended. That was during segregation. They got, of course, integration came. They ended up going to York Road High School, which is now Kennedy Middle School. And so that's how my life started. And so I used to spend my Saturdays every other week when I had hair walking up to the barbershop or at Reed's Barbershop and Reed Plaza up there. I used to play basketball and in my neighborhood. I went to Barringer Woods, which is in the neighborhood that my parents live in. And so my whole life has been West Boulevard. Now what switched for me is that when I was in high school, I couldn't wait to get out of Charlotte. This beautiful, cool stuff that y'all see in Charlotte right now
was not
here at all. And so I burnt the road up going to Atlanta and lived there for 10 years. Went to college down there, started a magazine down there called Atlanta Fever Magazine. So I was on video shoots with Lil Jon and the East Side Boys and interviewing Mike Vick. I was having a ball. And
you had a 4XT, right?
I'm sorry?
You had a 4X tall T. I know you did.
It might have been 3. It might have been 3 or 4, but for sure I had a tall T. and my hat was cocked to the side.
Yep.
For sure. And so I grew up with my dad is a sign painter. My dad was a pioneer in the sign business here in the 70s, 80s, and 90s before all of the, the franchise that do a lot of the sign stuff that you see on buildings and things of that nature. And so when I was in high school and growing up, I could see my dad's work all over the city. Like sign after sign after sign. So I grew up, he never let me work for anyone else. I had to work for him every summer I'm going up ladders and painting signs and all this stuff. And so at the end of my tenure in Atlanta, he gets sick. And so my best friend calls me and is like, hey, man, I think it's time for you to move back to Charlotte. And so this is 2006. I come back, let him get healthy. And man, we go on a tear for about 2 years. I'm help running the business and everything. But I was a young gunner coming out of Atlanta. I'm leaving Wakanda. I'm like T'Challa coming back to Charlotte, right? And he was like in his mid 60s, and he was like, brother, you gotta slow down. And so he got on my nerves. We got on each other's nerves. But he's like really close. He's like my best friend. Yeah. And so he gave me his blessing to go off and do my own thing, and that's how I got here today.
Man, that's funny because I moved from Atlanta to Raleigh. Okay. And it's so fast paced in Atlanta. And when I got to Raleigh, I'm like, why is it so slow here? Yes. I'm like, we I'm in the newsroom like, come on, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then you sort of kind of mellow out a little bit. Yeah. That's just how we are here in North Carolina. We mellow out a bit.
It took me about 5 years to get off of that. Yeah. Like I was back in Charlotte for 5 years, but in my head I was still in Atlanta. And it was tough, man. Like I really had to like recenter. I didn't want to lose that energy that I had or that the city has. And but you mellow out and understand that you have to operate a certain way here.
Do you like that comparison when people they did it for a long time? You don't hear that much. You know where I'm about to go. Yeah. Do you like that comparison, Charlotte?
No, Atlanta? Charlotte is not Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree.
Atlanta,
totally agree.
There's no place on earth like Atlanta. No. I think if we start to understand that part, we'll stop doing that. Like we people will say, like when I was growing up, that was a part of my frustration. People would say Charlotte is gonna be a mini New York City. If you've been to New York City, no ma'am, no sir, it is not New York City. And so the same thing about Atlanta. Yeah.
How has the city changed from, I know you loved for 10 years, but how has the city changed? Because again, you hear some interesting things at the DMV. One lady was like, man, I just don't recognize the city anymore. Like I've been here my entire life. I was about to go to the grocery store and I got lost. Yeah. Because it's different. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to be in grown folks' business, but I was like,
you ear hustling?
I was like, for real. I felt that though. Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like that?
Yeah. So I live in two worlds. Yeah. I live in the fancy world that you all live in, and I go to all these cool events and all these cool, new restaurant concepts and stuff. And then I go to West Boulevard and see my parents every weekend, and take our son to go see them. And when I have the family cookout and my cousins and all these folks coming, they don't go to a lot of this stuff that's here. And what I've learned is that Charlotte is growing so rapidly. Man, there's 157 people moving here every single day. So while we're sitting here, there's another moving truck of somebody, moving into Charlotte. And what's happening is that a lot of natives feel like the Charlotte that they grew up with is like just disappearing in front of their eyes, And so when I'm sitting there listening to my 81-year-old parents talk about what used to be on Independence Boulevard and what used to be in Second Ward and these different places, and I know that there's a restaurant there, right, right there, like it makes you feel bad. And so for me, I'd love to, play a part in bridging the gap of what Charlotte used to be and what we're going to, because we're finally, the last thing I'll say about this is that we're finally starting to, have our dreams come true of what we wanted Charlotte to be when I was young. Yeah. Because we used to always say, man, Charlotte is really going to take off or blow up one day. And I used to be like, I came back from Atlanta like, when is it going to happen? And now I think we're finally here, man.
Oh, man. Jay Hill here on 704 Unfiltered. I have more questions for this guy right here.
Yes, sir.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments. We'll be back here on 704 Unfiltered. Welcome back here on 704 Unfiltered. I'm Nick Sturdivant, man. We have the man with the plan, West Boulevard's own Charlottean, Jay Hill here in studio. You were talking about growing up in Charlotte. You were talking about just continuing that hustler spirit that you got from Atlanta.
Yeah.
We talked about how Charlotte has changed.
Yes. Every day.
Did you always, because your dad, correct me if I'm wrong, entrepreneur.
Yes.
Did you always have that spirit in you? Did he instill that in you?
I was born with the illness of being an entrepreneur. Like, to me, I feel like it's a sickness. Like, you don't choose to go through the things that you go through as a entrepreneur or business owner, like, on your own. You know, my wife always thinks I'm crazy. Like, she's like, I can never deal with the stuff that you deal with, like, as a business owner. And so, yeah, I think partly seeing him always inspired me. He was really successful. Like again, before all of this fancy stuff was here, like, he really was successful. So I spent a lot of my time around him, getting a creative juice from him. Like, I can't draw a lick like he can, but what I got it, or how I received that gift was through the imagery that I seen. Like, I can see beautiful photos and help with it from an aesthetic standpoint when I'm creating things for clients. So for me, man, it's cool to still see all of the cool stuff here, but I definitely got a lot of my entrepreneurial aspirations from my dad, but the hard work came from my mom, Mary Hill. So yeah.
Oh, shout out to mom and dad. Oh man, we gotta get them both on the show now. I'm like, come on,
we don't have all day for that.
All right, this will be a 2-hour segment. Brand new script.
Yes.
Public relations.
Yes.
I think I think journalists know. I think I have a good understanding what PR is. I think there are a lot of folks that they think they know, but they don't know.
Yeah.
Why PR and why? Because you had this business, correct me if I'm wrong, since 2010, right?
Yeah, it's been a while now.
But you branched out on your own when?
Yeah, so around that time,
Okay.
There was some years, and you know, I'd like to give a lot of respect to my mentor, attorney Ken Harris, when he kind of helped the bridge from me being a magazine publisher, because I had a magazine in Atlanta, and then when I came back to Charlotte, I was helping my dad. We shut the other one down, and I started a new one called Celebrity Power Magazine, and it was about philanthropy and business for celebrities. And so we interviewed a whole bunch of folks, but I interviewed attorney Ken Harris one day because he had, he worked with Beyonce's dad, Matthew Knowles. He had a business with Babyface and all these things, and I was like, who is this dude? And he was like, I got an office at North Carolina Music Factory. So I Googled him and called him up, and man, we just hit it off, and we went on a tear for about 6 years where we went all over the country working with pro athletes, opening restaurants, and I did some PR for the Winans family, Mike Winans Jr. And so, man, for me, I always treated PR like a hustle for those first couple of years.
Yeah.
And then me and my wife were going on vacation, and I read the book on Dan Edelman. And learned, another thing too is like a lot of people they're not used to seeing a man be a publicist unless you're like in sports. Yeah. And so, but me and I fell in love with it. Like this moment, being in this studio, this is the highlight. Like it's like that rush for me. This moment, being live, being on air, having clients, be in a magazine. Like when I get the call and you say, yes, I'd like to have you on the show, like that's my fix. And so I keep working to get that fix over and over again. And so I love it for me and for the clients.
How do you get that? How do you translate that over to your clients? Because I see that all the time.
Yeah.
Where you have that rush, but the client not so much. They're kind of like, I'm obligated to be here.
Well, I deal with something else.
Okay.
A lot of times I deal with fear. I deal with
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, like everyone isn't an extrovert. Everyone doesn't like to talk on camera and live. So I had to understand that like everybody is not just built in that way. It's not a natural thing for them. And so a lot of times we're doing more psychology and supporting people and encouraging someone. Come on, you
like
can do
therapist.
it. Like like I'm a motivational speaker for most of the time for our clients, and so that's the thing that you wrestle with. But that's the challenge there. But for me, it's great. And as I talk about the agency, what I want to do now is develop an agency that is Charlotte centric, meaning that I believe that we have so many cool things and so many cool people here in Charlotte that the agency should be a way to prop those things up, not only locally but nationwide as well.
In the day of content creators,
yes,
AI, how do you adapt? Because I think there is a tremendous use for PR, right?
Yes.
Because people always say the wrong thing. And I'm not saying don't be your authentic self.
Yeah.
But people just don't know how to sort of maneuver in certain environments, and so you need help. You need
Yeah.
help. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
But how do you adapt in this age of AI and content creation?
Listen, to be honest with you, if you somebody like myself who's been in the game for as long as I have, listen, if I can use Claude or use Chat GPT to make my job easier, where I can go in and put notes in and it can help develop pitches, or it can search information for me, it can help me develop a strategy based on what I see in my brain and in my spirit as far as what I want to do for a client, then I'm for it. It makes our job easier with apps to be able to develop content. When I used to have to go in iMovie and go and clip content for clients, like, man, I'm happy with it. So it's made us faster. It's made us more efficient. So I'm listen, I'm getting a little older. I got a little gray in my beard now, but listen, I am a futurist, and so I'm not gonna be the old man saying "get off my lawn" or "this is how we used to do it back in 2010." I'm not gonna do that. I'm with all of the new things. So
I mean, you probably got clients that probably they were little kids in 2010.
yes, or in high school.
So they're looking at you like,
yes,
yeah,
like I'm the OG now.
Yeah.
And like somebody called me Unc the other day. I almost had a
How do you
problem.
feel about that?
I think it's disrespectful, actually. I told him, like, hey man, don't call me Unc. But you know, I'm accepting, man. I just have to adjust to, you know, I'm not a kid anymore. It's all good.
Yeah, I had a couple people call me.
What do you
Unc.
think? How you feel? Are you Unc status now?
I feel like I have no choice, but I don't think I'm Unc. Carlene's saying no. I don't think I'm.
You're
Unc.
OG. Are you? No. OG is older than Unc.
I feel like I'm.
No, you're OG. OG, right? Yeah, OG is
I feel
after.
like I'm young OG. I'll take
young
OG.
I'm young OG.
young OG.
I'm fabulous. Like
Yeah.
fabulous. Young OG.
I have an old soul, but I'm not old.
No.
I'm young. I'm getting better than some of these young cats. Like my nephew. My nephew is like 6'1", 6'2".
yeah.
He's 16. And I still can put him in the chokehold.
Yes.
Man.
And a little leg lock. Is 40 the new 30 now?
40 might be the new 20.
I think so.
40 might
Thank
be
you.
the new 20.
50 is the new 30?
50 is the new 30. 50 to 60 to 240. Because I see, like, I'm a part of Black Men Run.
Yes.
Right? And I see these guys, man, they're in their 60s. A couple of guys are in their 70s, man, and they look great, man. They look.
Yeah.
Oh, what's my guy from Ghostbusters?
The black man?
The only black dude in Ghostbusters.
I don't know his name. I just know the
he's
black man from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but he was on Men's Health recently,
Yes.
man. He says
Okay.
he does he's 80 years old.
Really?
And he does 100 push-ups a day. He looks great. I can't think of his name. Carlene is looking him up.
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie
Yeah,
Hudson. There
yes.
you go.
Yes.
Do you see the pictures of Ernie Hudson?
Yeah.
Can you?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
want to. We gotta, as black men, we got.
Yes.
That is the bar.
I run too. Do you run often? You do 5K, 10K, marathon?
I just did a half marathon.
Ooh.
My second half marathon.
Okay, I did one. That was in 2015.
Yeah,
But
do another one. Come on.
Yeah. I want to do the Novine Marathon at the end of the year.
I did that one back last November.
Okay.
Great experience. If you run it,
Yeah, we can run together.
yeah.
All right, man. I mean, slow down for you, boy.
No,
But yeah.
trust me, I had to slow down too, man, because brother, those hills.
Yes. and Charlotte is a very hilly
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, and you run around Charlotte enough, you get used to the
Yes.
course. It's usually people that are not from here that run the course that really just have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
But either that or Kiowa. I was talking to Carlene about it. I know we're kind of going off in a tangent, but that's my.
We're sorry.
No, which is good. Which is good. It was
You don't have to
good.
apologize to me.
I'm looking at Kiowa because it's flat.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Kiowa Island, right?
Yeah.
I've thought about that a few times. The flat surface is way
Human.
better, man.
They are.
Yeah.
I just did Myrtle Beach, and it
It felt better.
felt better, but it was a lot of people, so it was kind of tight.
I ran the Cooper River Bridge.
Yeah, I
run.
did that last year for the first time.
I was standing up for an hour before we ran
Yeah.
because I was like, "What is going on?" It was a mile-long line to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I was like one of the slower people, so I was in like letter like D or
Yeah.
E or F, so I had to wait for a long time to start running. I was like, "Wow."
Man, it's one of those races where it's a 10K and you're like, okay, if you run off and you're like, oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But because of the weight and
Yes.
because of just everything, you're talking about 30,000 people, it's one of
Yes.
the biggest races.
Yes.
You're like, I felt like I ran a half marathon.
For
I felt
real.
like I ran a marathon.
Yeah.
let's head to break. We'll be back here in just a little bit. I got more questions for Jay Hill coming back in just a few minutes here on 704 Unfiltered. All right, welcome back, 704 Unfiltered. I have the man with a plan. Look, he threw it out there during the break. He said it. I think he said it. I think I heard it. Best PR in the nation. I think he said that.
Listen, let the man use you. If that's in your spirit, you say
what I heard. I think that's what I heard. You have so much going on, man.
Yeah, man.
Being a husband, father, how do you balance it all? That's always the trick, man. How do you balance it?
So I think a couple things. I'm glad you said that. So let's go through this slowly. I think the first part is prioritizing your family first. So I made a conscious decision probably 10 years ago that I didn't want to be running all over the country with clients and things of that nature. I wanted to go to my son's practices. He and I both play pickleball, so that's made us even more closer. He's 14. Shout out to Lil J. He's at North Meck High School right now. And so prioritizing them, I want to eat dinner with my family every night. So just that part, just all the time that I can spend with them, want to make sure that we're doing that. The other thing too, man, is that, we have Brittany here in studio. And so having a team that I can trust, shout out to Ty, who's our operations manager, like having a great team, folks who can make sure that I can focus on my gift in the areas that I should be working on. That's really important to me.
One question I meant to ask you, what do you tell your clients? It's a two-part question. What do you initially
I tell them yes.
But what if it's not a match? What if you're like, there's no synergy there?
Yeah, that's a great question, Nick. Like, for a long time, I would just take everybody. You know what I mean? And because listen, if you've been where I've been, like sometimes you like, where is the client? What does the client look like? Right? And so then, I had to understand that, because I never got that. People would turn down business, and I thought it was the craziest thing ever. But you understand as you get better at certain things, another thing, personalities, and understanding like every personality is not a fit for you and your company. And so when I started to understand, like, number one, what do we want to be? We want to be a Charlotte-centric agency. So if somebody wants to be pitched in Phoenix, like, that's not where we are right now. Yeah. And so we built our whole ecosystem on having relationships with folks like you, Nick, where it's not just every time you hear from me is I'm asking to be on air, right? But it's like we're a part of a community, and you know what I have going on, and I know what works for you. And so that's how we've tried to do that.
I would say that is one of the unique things about Charlotte is the reason why I've been able to build relationships with folks is because we're not just asking for stuff. We're just, how are you doing? Yeah. And then if something is happening, hey, this is happening, but it doesn't feel like
it's a transaction.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a transaction where, most cities, it is what it is.
That's been the biggest blessing to my life is stop treating relationships transactionally. Yeah. That this is a relationship. I should know Nick. Why don't I know Nick Sturtevant? Right?
That's a big reason why I had you on the show.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I love the show. Yeah. And just through that organic connection, I'm here. And, but now I learned that you like to run. So now you can run faster than me, but I want to run with you. Like that's a relationship, and that's how it should be.
What's next? Since we already established the 40's the new 20, 30, 50's the new 30, so on and so forth. What's next?
So a couple things. Number one, the Brain Script Agency being the largest agency in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm putting that in the ether. That is the goal for us. The Power Mixer. God bless me with the Power Mixer, which has been an amazing event, which is an event where, me growing up in Charlotte, I know that people have this idea or feeling that Charlotte is very cliquish and gatekeeping. And I see everyone's faces in the studio. And so we created the Power Mixer to put C-suite level startups, creatives, nonprofits all in the same room because I believe for Charlotte to take the next step, we need to be some of that energy we talked about in Atlanta, that if you like, it was about connection and hustling and working together. And so that's what I want to do with the Power Mixer. So the next one is May 6th. It will be sports in Charlotte is the theme. Okay. And so you can look for it and go to thepowermixerclt.com to learn more information about it.
Where can folks find you on social media? You all over social media.
I know. So the main place is at Branduscript, BRANDUSCRIPT, and then Mr.J.Hill is where you can find all things that I'm connected to. So yeah, man, that's where you can find me.
Brother, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your time, man. This is fun. I love doing this. I love having this organic conversation.
Yeah.
During the break, he's like, should we be? And I'm like, nah, man. We got to have organic conversation. Wherever the conversation leads, it leads.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, man. Man, and look, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you,
I sound like
man.
an unk when I said it. I was hesitating. I was like, I kind of sound like an unk. But yeah,
No, it was a pregnant pause.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it was what it
But I'm proud of the work you're doing, man.
Thank
I
you.
love to see it, man. Thank you again. And thank you for watching. Another episode here in the book, 704 Unfiltered. We do this each Thursday here on WCNC Plus, highlighting Black voices. We'll see you next week.